Thinking, Fast and Slow is a 2011 book by Nobel Prize-winning psychologist Daniel Kahneman. It explores the dual process theory of the mind, detailing how human thinking operates through two systems. System 1, fast, intuitive and automatic, and System 2, slow, deliberate, and analytical. The book delves into how these systems shape decision-making, judgment, and behavior, often leading to cognitive biases and errors. Below is a detailed overview of the book's key themes, structure, and insights. Imagine your mind as a stage where two characters perform. One is quick, intuitive, and emotional, while the other is slow, deliberate, and logical. I call these System 1 and System 2. And in Thinking, Fast and Slow, I explore how these two systems shape every decision you make, often in ways you don't realize. System 1 operates effortlessly. Like a seasoned actor improvising lines, it's the part of your brain that instantly recognizes a friend's face, flinches at a loud noise, or judges a stranger's mood from their expression. It's fast, automatic, and runs on heuristics, those mental shortcuts that help you navigate life without overthinking every step. But System 1 is also prone to mistakes, jumping to conclusions based on incomplete information or stereotypes. System 2, on the other hand, is the thoughtful critic in the audience, stepping in for complex tasks like solving a math problem or planning a career move. It's logical but lazy, often letting System 1 take the lead unless forced to intervene. This interplay defines human thought, and my goal is to show you how it leads to both brilliant intuitions and predictable errors. Let's start with how these systems work together or sometimes clash. System 1 is always on, generating impressions and feelings that feed System 2. When you see a headline about a plane crash, System 1 makes you feel uneasy about flying, and unless System 2 steps in to check statistics, you might overestimate the danger. This is the availability heuristic. We judge the likelihood of events based on how easily examples come to mind. A vivid story about a shark attack sticks with you, making the ocean seem deadlier than it is. System 1 also loves patterns, using the representativeness heuristic to make snap judgments. If I describe someone as shy and detail-oriented, you might assume they're a librarian rather than a truck driver, even though truck drivers are far more common. This can lead to errors like the conjunction fallacy, where people think it's more likely that Linda is a bank teller and a feminist than just Linda is a bank teller, because the story feels more coherent, even though it's statistically less probable. System 1's reliance on what I call wisiati, what you see is all. There is means it draws conclusions from whatever information is at hand, ignoring what's missing. If you meet someone charming at a party, System 1 might label them as trustworthy, overlooking that you know nothing about their history. This fuels overconfidence, where we believe our judgments are more accurate than they are. Experts like stock market analysts often fall into this trap, acting as if their predictions are certain despite limited data. The illusion of validity makes us trust these gut feelings, even when evidence suggests otherwise. For example, in studies of clinical psychologists, simple algorithms often outperformed human judgments because they avoided the overconfidence of System 1. This brings us to biases, those systematic errors System 1 introduces. Anchoring is a prime example. If I ask you whether Gandhi was older than 140 when he died, then ask for his actual age at death, your guess will likely be higher than if I'd mentioned 35. The initial number, even if absurd, anchors your thinking. Another bias, the framing effect, shows how wording shapes decisions. If I tell you surgery has a 90% survival rate, you're more likely to agree to it than if I say it has a 10% mortality rate, though the numbers are identical. These biases aren't random, they're predictable, rooted in how System 1 simplifies the world. My work with Amos Tversky on prospect theory, which earned us recognition in economics, dives deeper into decision-making under uncertainty. Unlike traditional economic models that assume people are rational econs, we found humans are driven by emotions like fear of loss. Loss aversion means losing $100 hurts more than gaining $100 feels good roughly twice as much. Our study showed. This explains why people hold on to losing stocks or stay in bad jobs. Avoiding loss feels more urgent than chasing gains. Prospect theory also reveals how we evaluate outcomes relative to a reference point, not in absolute terms. If you're expecting a $500 bonus, but get $400, it feels like a loss, even though you're still better off. Framing matters here too. Presenting a choice as a gain, for example, save 200 lives, versus a loss, for example, 600 will die, sways decisions, even when the outcomes are mathematically equivalent. Then there's a tension between your experiencing self and your remembering self. a distinction that reshapes how we think about happiness and memory. The experiencing self feels every moment of joy or pain as it happens, but the remembering self only cares about how you recall the experience later. The peak end rule shows this clearly. If you endure a painful medical procedure, your memory of it hinges on the worst moment and how it ended, not its total duration. In one experiment, patients rated a longer colonoscopy with a less painful ending as better than a shorter, more consistently painful one. This is why a vacation with a great finale feels better in memory than one with constant mild enjoyment. The remembering self dominates your decisions, so you might choose a job or partner based on a rosy memory rather than the day-to-day reality. These insights challenge the idea that we're fully rational. We're not econs but humans, swayed by stories, emotions, and incomplete information. System 1's heuristics make life manageable but lead to errors like overestimating risks, for example, terrorism, or underestimating others, for example, heart disease. System 2 can correct these, but it's effortful and often dormant. For example, the Muller-Lyer illusion, where two lines of equal length look different due to arrow-like ends, shows System 1's dominance even when System 2 knows the truth. The illusion persists. Similarly, inattentional blindness, like missing a gorilla in a video while counting basketball passes, reveals how System 1's focus blinds us to the obvious. So, what can we do? Awareness is the first step. By recognizing when System 1 is leading us astray, say, when a vivid news story skews your risk perception, you can prompt System 2 to double-check. In organizations, using algorithms or structured decision-making can reduce biases. For personal choices, consider reframing options. Focus on gains to counteract loss aversion, or question your first impression to avoid wisiati. The book isn't just about flaws. It's about understanding the mind's strengths and limits to make better choices. In essence, thinking fast and slow is a journey through the mind's quirks, showing how System 1 and System 2 shape our lives. From anchoring to loss aversion, from the peak end rule to overconfidence, these concepts explain why we misjudge, misremember, and misgoose, and how we can do better. By shining a light on the hidden forces behind our thoughts, I hope to help you navigate a complex world with clearer eyes.